Another day, another group of poll results. And like I say, to be honest, I think already today you're going to be thinking, why aren't you talking about the news that's going on in the Northern Ireland Protocol? I trust me, I know, but we've got all week. We've got all week to talk about this. And to be honest, these poll numbers are fresh from the bakery. So I'm really looking forward to having a dig through these numbers. I think they're quite good. I think a lot of these polls have really been going in our direction, really very significantly. And for those of you who were part of the Pony Club, this week's video, again, I was telling to them and what was really going on. You've got a big panic in the Brexit, in like the pro-Brexit community, saying, why are all these polls shifting in our direction? And they're coming up with massive numbers of excuses. First of all, they're saying, oh, it's just the economy. Don't worry. Once we get through this and the economy starts becoming better, again, how? It's just that somehow it will become better. Diesel turn around. Jacob Rees-Mogg saying, oh, you don't understand. These are secret Remainers infiltrating these polling, or people pretending to be Brexiteers. Yeah, there's only so many excuses these guys can come up with, because we are seeing in poll after poll after poll after poll, Brexit is sliding in support massively. And more importantly, as this one and the numbers showing this, there's more and more Tories who are saying, well, shall we say, becoming more skeptical about Brexit. We're having Brexit skeptics rather than, we had Eurosceptics. Well, now we're getting Brexit skeptics, which I think is a massive step in the right direction, because these Brexit skeptics are starting to question these Brexit cheerleaders, saying, at the referendum, you promised this is not happening. What's going on? And of course, they promised if we voted for Brexit, we would get instant results. It would make everything better. Don't worry about any problems with the NHS, whatever. We do Brexit, it's all solved. Brexit is the answer to everything. And yet, it really wasn't. It never was. As we always said, the problems with the UK, never to do with the EU, never to do with the EU. It was more to do with 12 years of Tory austerity that has stripped away at public services and investment into these places that felt that they were left behind. And unfortunately, people like Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage, fed on that resentment. And of course, that helped to deliver them the Brexit vote. Then, of course, now their precious Brexit is starting to be questioned, even by people within that sort of the Tory Party, who are now becoming Brexit skeptics. And to be honest, this is something we should absolutely encourage. So, as always, guys, before we go into these poll numbers, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, the subscribe button, and of course, there is links down below to my Patreon page, the one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. There's a YouTube thank you button, and of course, there's the Pony Club down below as well. So, please also remember to ring the bell as well, so you get notifications when we do a new video and when we go live as well. So, on with this. So, this poll was, I think, commissioned by Best for Britain. I think it was them that led on it as well, from what I remember. But we'll find out in a moment. But anyway, like I say, this comes from Best for Britain with Brexit poll exclusive new results. But to be honest, these results aren't really new. The past couple of weeks, we have done other polls that have been showing very much in the same direction. So, the new poll shows majority of voters in Great Britain now believe Brexit has caused more problems than it has solved. And for the first time, pardon me, and for the first time, more Tory voters are now skeptical of Brexit compared to those who believe it has been a success. 57% say Brexit has created more problems compared to just 10% who have said it has solved more problems. And 22% are neutral, saying Brexit has neither created or solved more problems. And another, just 11%, just didn't know. It is clear from these figures that the British people do not feel that Brexit has been a success. And this is exactly what other polls are confirming as well. So you can see here the field dates done between the 14th and 16th of December. You can see here, do you think Brexit has created more problems than it has solved? 57%. Again, everything seems to be going in that direction. Why? Because Brexit was sold as the panacea to solve all our problems, but it was never, ever the solution to any problems that we were facing. So, when we look at how voters for each party feel, we can see that the majority view of Brexit has created more problems is shared by people who say they would vote for Labour, Liberal Democrats, and the Green Party, while the Conservative and Reform UK voters seem to be conflicted on the issue. And bear in mind, this would be fantastic because we've got an upcoming Conservative civil war, and the trenches are already being dug. So one of the hilarious things to happen would absolutely be to be a Brexit skeptic faction appear. And that would be absolutely fantastic. It would be hilarious. And quite frankly, I would be cheering them on in any activity and any maneuvers that they would undertake. That would be fantastic. But it would certainly tear open the Conservative Party even more. That's for sure. Especially if they do start to have this. Oh my word. Considering the fact, what if these guys, this Brexit skeptic faction, basically just became like the opposite of the ERG, just questioning, just like asking questions of the of the Brexit and saying why hasn't this happened, about how good life would be or life was back in the EU. We could have all that back if we were to rejoin it. It's Brexit that's causing there's so much they could just turn on the Brexiteers by just becoming the opposite of Eurosceptics. It would be absolutely fantastic and hilarious to see at the same time. But anyway, back to it. So this appears to be the first time that more people who intend to vote Conservatives are skeptical of Brexit compared to those ready to defend it. And you can see here in the polls, obviously Labour leading the pack at 75, followed by the Greens at 74, Liberal Democrats at 78, and Reform at 20%. Wow. Reform UK, there is a 20% block of people in Reform UK who say that Brexit has created more problems. That's interesting. That's very interesting, that's for sure. And of course, you get to the Conservatives here. 33% says it has created more problems, while 22% has solved more problems. That's interesting. That gets ever more interesting the more we see these polls. And bear in mind, the more polls we see, the more direction it is going that people are starting to question Brexit and are starting to say, yeah, actually, it hasn't been as good as, we were promised. But again, that is all on the Brexiteers. They were the ones who sold it like they did. It's all on them. So, for people who say they intend to vote Labour at the next election, more than twice as many, 44%, say that Keir Starmer is wrong to rule out rejoining a customs union with the EU. And if Labour does win the next election, compared to those who say that he is right, only 19. In July, the Labour leader came under fire for dismissing a move which would reduce costs to businesses and consumers during the cost of living crisis. So again, that's the whole thing. Should, Labour rejoin the single market and customs union? Yeah. I mean, you look at total GB, you've got 38%. With 44% who says, just in the Labour alone, who say it was wrong to rule out joining the customs union. I mean, this is now where we have to start making the case for rejoining some of these institutions, such as the customs union or the single market. We have to start, rallying for that. I mean, rejoining the customs union wouldn't necessarily, shall we say, solve the problems in and around the Northern Ireland Protocol, but it would greatly probably relieve a lot of the situation that has been created from, shall we say, Boris Johnson's oven ready deal. But there you go. So finally, we asked those who say that though Brexit had caused more problems than it had solved, to tell us the main reason why they thought that. Each respondent was able to choose up to 3 answers, and the top 5 reasons were this. 1. Brexit has made importing and exporting goods and services more expensive at 50%. Absolutely, it has. So I'm very glad that is getting through. Brexit has made labour shortages in the UK worse. Excellent at 39%. After that, Brexit has made travelling and working abroad more difficult and expensive. It absolutely has at 26%. I'm glad that's in the top 3. I always said back at the referendum there should have been a campaign run about, your holidays to Europe are going to get more expensive. Show those, photos of those lines about how, remember what it was like waiting in those lines. They should have absolutely done that, but they didn't for one reason or another. Brexit has not reduced immigration to the UK at 26%. Yep, that's true. Brexit was never going to reduce immigration. And Brexit has caused more problems at the Northern Ireland border at 26%. Absolutely. I'm so glad, to be honest, that is in the top 5% because we should really, really worry about what Brexit has really done to the situation in Northern Ireland. So, for people planning to vote Conservative, the Northern Ireland was the main driver of dissatisfaction at 39%. Again, interesting. And it's good to at least they do recognise that as a faction. The poll of over 2,000 adults waited to be politically and nationally representative. The poll was done by opinion, commissioned by Best for Britain, and the field dates are the 14th to 16th of December. So, this isn't the first time we have seen these numbers. It's not the first time we've seen these polls. To be honest, the more polls we see, the more and more it's going in our direction, guys. And a lot quicker and a lot sooner than many of us were even thinking. So, yeah, we are certainly on a roll when it comes to these. And like I say, it's because of, like I say, we are here, we are making the argument. And again, we live in a democracy. That's what you do. Even if you lose a vote or whatever, you are allowed to go on making the argument, as again Ian Hislop said in that that famous question time moment about that. So, as always, guys, like I say, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for helping to, again, support the channel like this, because, again, I'm pretty sure this has helped to sort of contribute to the state that, again, we are in. So, as always, guys, like I say, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to helping support the channel. And, of course, we'll see you all next time.